Here's some magazine clippings that I just found. I have no idea how I'm going to use them, but I've got a bunch. They're from the New Yorker, so I have a lot of people in them. But I have no idea what I'm going to do with this stuff yet. But this is the first process. Just get some images that you like. Now that you have all your black and white photos collected, the next thing I do is I separate them. I'm looking for some background images, like this might make a good background. I've got this black and white cake. This one, like I'm thinking maybe this guy would be a nice background. And I kind of like this. I mean, it goes this way. I could use it that way. This could be a background in through here. So I'm not quite sure yet, but I'm thinking that. I have another background here. This was actually one piece. And I like these three people together. Put those aside. But this could be a good background. I had this Charles de Gaulle photo. This was in back of him. And I thought this might be a good background. This was on the other side of him. And I thought this could be a good background. So I put those in that area. Okay, so now I have de Gaulle. I know he's huge, but we'll see. Maybe I can use this as a background, for instance. Or I might use part of his face. We shall see. So I'm going to keep him as part of my objects. So then I have objects, like I showed you these three people on a bed. So, you know, I might just use those two heads. I don't know. So I have that there. I have cut out some pieces that I like this was this guy's arm. I really like that. That could easily go across one of your 18 by 24, 4 by 3 inch cards. So I'm going to save this in my object pile. This guy, I don't know what I'm going to do with him, so I'm just going to save him. Her hands were, let me see. I think these were her hands. Yep. So I've got her hands, which I cut out. And I'm going to save these. Let me put my backgrounds across here. I'm going to save these. I'm going to, where are those other arms? Anyway, also in hers, this was on her desk. The buck stops here, so I might use that. Her, I don't know. I'm putting in a pile over here. This was a photograph of Kate, that woman who did the Depression era photos. I can't remember her name right now, but that's a pretty cool photo. I could use that arm. I could use that face. So I'm saving this whole one to possibly use. This was a guy laying in a bed. You see his head? So I just cut this. I might just use him. We'll see. That might be a possibility. So I'm saving that piece. This was this guy's hands. So don't know about him. I'm going to save him. But there's a nice hand to work with. I got this nice little photo of a baby. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that yet. I had these two people. There was sort of just a mishmash back here. I cut that all out. Not sure how I'm going to use that. That's a pretty dramatic face. I might just use the bottom. I might use an eye. I might use the hair. I don't know. And her, which again, huge, but maybe I'll just use her eye or her ear or her mouth. We shall see. So these pieces are, I don't know what yet. I want to show you now how I have mocked up one of my first collages. So the first thing you need to do is to have a stack of images, of cards to be ready to glue your images on. So the card has to be 4 inches by 3 inches. I've used a recipe card. It's a little too big, so this is 4. This is actually a 5-inch card. So I have cut off an inch on all of these. These are now all 4 by 3 inches. So these are ready to be collaged. Oops. Okay, so how do you start? The other thing I've cut out is a 4 by 3 inch window inside of a piece of paper that's just a little bit larger so I can see a frame. That can sometimes help. So I've got one of my cards. And I'm going to show you what happened. I really liked this image. This was all one image. And what I did was I thought, well, this guy might look really nice across the bottom here. I thought, okay. So I cut this off. I'm going to save that. And I took the black out around him because I didn't want all that photograph to be there. So now I've got this piece. So then I thought, well, now I need a background. So let me put this up here for a minute. And I've got this tree that with snow on it that I saw. So I took my viewfinder and I thought, oh, that might be a nice background. So I thought about, what a little bit more down here. It could be up here, could be up here. I decided, okay, that looks pretty good. And then I took this and put that in and thought, okay, that looks good. But then I thought too much in the middle here. So I thought about, I'm gonna push this down a little bit more and kind of make a diagonal across here. So I've sort of got one triangle and a second triangle. That's a nice start to a composition. And then I know that this is going to go horizontally across the bottom like that. I like that. But now I need 3 images. So I could do something back here, and I had this image that I cut out. So what I did was I just cut around the tree, and I'm just sliding this back in here so that that gentleman is in the corner there. And I kind of like that. I don't think that I'm going to put the glass in. It's just his blackness of his suit will be the blackness in through there. And so now there's my image. I'm going to glue that up together onto the card, and that will be my first image. So again, I looked at the composition. I also I have a diagonal here. I have this face to face here. I have really sharp information and light information, and I have this fuzzier information and darker information. I like the way that those opposites kind of work together. I have a light triangle, I have a dark triangle. So that's how I play around until I get something I like, and then I will glue it down. So I put the background in first. There's the spooky guy in the background. This goes right in the corner here. So I'm going to add a little bit of glue stick back here all over the surface so it lays nice and flat. And I'm going to have that match up at the bottom and the side. Pull down a little bit. There we go. I can clip this off. Nothing should hang out of the 4 by 3 inch card. I'm going to clip that down so it's even with the card. Okay. And then the last piece I should actually have a scrap under here putting my glue down. Otherwise, I'm going to start to get glue all over everything. Now I'm done with this. Throw that away. And glue that little baby down. And there is my first image. Pretty happy with it.